We're going to start with the national anthem. All right, our first class is going to be Mayor Halter. There are 2 participants in this class.
Welcome to the Bryan County Horse Show. Kyle Jorgensen here along with Madison Jorgensen for Fuller Digital Solutions, and we're joined by a nice young lady here, Kate Stewart. So Kate, thanks for joining us, and Kate's going to give us all the expert commentary today with the horse show. I'm teasing her because
we'll see about that, but it'll be a good show.
So we are leading off here. This is the Mayor Halter show. Just 2 participants, looks like. Emily Kellen and Samantha Sauer. And thankfully we have a nice day of weather here. Yesterday it was hot and pretty miserable, but today is much cooler. The humidity's way lower and nice breeze, kind of out of the north, I think.
Yep, it should be a good day for the horses in the ring. Hopefully there's not too much dust and things stay looking nice and pretty all day.
And if the dust does blow, it's going to go away from us for the most part, I think. So.
All right, after the Mayor Halter, we're going to have Gelding Halter, so you 4 can be getting ready.
Do we know who our judge is today, by chance? Putting you on the spot, aren't I?
Our judge is Kevin Woodford from Holstein, Iowa.
Oh, okay.
So he's been here before. He does a great job. We're excited to have him back. Does a great job talking with the kids as they're in the arena, giving them pointers on what they can bring back next year for the fair to improve. And it's neat with halter classes because they're really looking at the composition of your horse and evenness. So for those, it's more of like looking at how you can care to really show the true characteristics of your horse. So always a pleasure to have him back.
Not too far away, just down there in Holstein. I want to thank the O'Brien County Fair Board and O'Brien County Farm Bureau for being our sponsors for this and allowing this live stream to happen with this COVID-19 year. Just a strange year with everything going on, so nice to be able to live stream it. And of grandpa and grandmas or friends and family out there be able to watch it. So.
Oh, yeah. So right now what they're doing is the first horse that came in was Sam Sauer and her horse Patch. So what they're doing for their pattern is they're walking to the judge, and then they're taking their horse to a trot to the second cone, and then they will line up, I believe, head to tail. So this here they're showing off how their horse moves. So it helps give a little bit more idea how their horse is put together. So that second horse was Emily Kellen and her horse Smoke.
So it looks like Emily's a junior and Samantha's a senior. So last year showing for her then.
Yes, this is Sam's last year. She does a great job bringing. She has a couple horses, I believe, that she brings. But it's really neat to see these girls out there. They do a great job of showing their horse. So as they're moving as the judge walks around, they're helping to really show their horse at the best angles and make sure that they aren't obstructing their view. Two really great showmen to have for examples for younger and new 4-Hers.
So it looks like we got an announcement coming up here.
Is that better? All right. Good job, Blake. Number one, thank you guys for bringing back here. I have to be closer.
Too far away from the signals.
Okay. No, there we go. Halter. I might just start yelling instead of using this. Both of condition.
Just go ahead, keep trying.
Test. You guys works? Alright, let's try. Here. Test. All right. Both of them are pretty well conditioned. The horse standing in front. You both got blues, okay? You want me to place them first, second, or you just want blues? Color. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with the gray horse first, and the black and white second. Black and white is a little bit thicker, and maybe kind of what you're starting to look for when you're in a conformation halter class. But I like the gray, how it's just cleaner head, cleaner neck, and just the way everything ties in. Even though my black and white's a thicker built horse, which, you know, is kind of what we're looking for a little bit, halter. But I just like the cleanliness of the gray horse. They're both good condition. It's like you guys have been working and riding your horses, and they're not just all sloppy and floppy and fat and stuff like that. So, good job. You, my black and white, you did a good job presenting your horse. The gray, you need to work on presenting your horse. Okay? And I'm going to come show you what I'm talking about. All right, test position right here. All right, test. All right, so first place is going to go to Emily Kellen, second place to Samantha Sauer. Test.
All right, so one of the things we mentioned was how these Sam Sauer did a great job of showcasing her animal.
First place goes to Emily Kellen. Second place goes to Samantha Sauer. That is our mare halter class. We have 4 participants in our gelding halter class. That's coming up next. You guys can be getting ready to go. Congratulations.
So what just happened in the ring there is the judge switched places with Emily to have her be in the place of the judge, so that as she was walking around, he was changing to show the different quarters of the horse to the best of their ability. So that's what I mean when he does a really good job being hands-on, helping improve the exhibitors for their next show, whether that's their next fair or if they're going to other shows throughout the summer.
I think that's invaluable to get that feedback and, you know, to improve when you keep going on like that. So I know we've been covering Cherokee County Fair, and the younger kids really listen when you start going out there, because the seniors kind of come out first, and then the younger kids came out later yesterday, and the younger kids, you could tell, were really listening. So hopefully whoever's listening here is listening to that feedback too. So
yeah, I hope so too. And a lot of these exhibitors have more than one horse, so hopefully they're able to take what they learned the first time they're in, and then they're able to bring and adjust the next time they clock in. So right now we have Sam Sauer in the ring with her horse Bailey. Again, they're following the same pattern. They walk to the judge. Well, they get to the first cone, walk to the judge, trot to the second cone, and then back into line. So walking to the judge, now we have Bailey Rolfson with her horse Texas.
So the judge basically watches them to that second cone.
Yep. So what he's doing with Wyatt is he's watching that horse. He watches them the whole time. And really, like, it's important to continue to show your horse the whole way until you get into line. Because if that judge is turning around, if your horse isn't set up, or maybe they're goofing off or heads all over the place, it can show a side of the horse that's not as ideal. So.
So they're all over here. So we're starting over here.
Yep. So this is our last horse for this gelding halter class. This is Sean Vandernald of the Caledonia Ramblers, and his horse Scout.
Horse isn't being real cooperative with Sean.
Yep, and that happens sometimes. I mean, in new places, and say there are a lot of different things that go into that. It's with lots of different species, and say they can work great at home. You get them to a new place, or even just around different animals, and
right,
they can
get a little spooked. And
oh yeah, but he's doing a great job working with his horse, sticking with it, and I think that's overall what's important with the 4-H show. And you see, even as the judge is looking at that first horse, all of the other exhibitors who are in line, they have their horses set up, they are also transitioning to show those quarters, because maybe out of the corner of his eye he's seeing the second horse, and he's taking a look at her there too. Wants to make sure that he's not looking at the exhibitor,
right,
but at the horse.
So he's always watching and looking and.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Bailey did a great job there. So her horse moved when she did, but she quickly got her horse to stop and set back up, so that even though wherever the judge was, he still had the best view. And so that overall is more important than while he's looking at your horse, you're taking him for a circle. Like, get him in place to show him off as best as possible.
I noticed the young lady here in the front,
Sam Sauer.
Sam Sauer, got a smile on her face the whole time, just smiling. And it's always how they present themselves throughout the whole thing that I've been learning as I've been doing more of these, that especially when it comes to showmanship and things like that. So
Yep, and in all of the shows I've ever been in or watched, what really comes down to is, like, at the end of the regular shows, you typically have your showmanship classes, but the judge is watching the whole day to see how it is, because you might have a rough horse, and if you handle it well, that's a plus to you.
All right, guys, good job, thank you. Again, kind of look at overall conformation, not just always muscling and who's the biggest horse. And I don't have the ideal halter horse, well then I'll go to what's the word I'm looking for? Use, for performance, form to function type thing. So I'm looking at balance, pretty, things like that. So we kind of go down the line, and that's what I'll do and look for. I'm going to sound like I'm being mean and picking on the young man on the end. And I don't mean to, because this is 4-H and this is a learning thing. But when he gets a little more comfortable with that horse and it's listening to him so that he can go ahead and present it in this class, things will get a lot better. Okay, so he's working hard. I'm going to give him that. It's just a matter of being able to present that horse, walk it to the judge, trot it past the judge, and kind of know the routine of the class. So, again, I am not picking on anybody. It all takes time and keep working on it, all right? So, good class. I gave 3 blues, and he got a red, but he hopefully keeps working on it, because I don't want you to quit, all right? Good job.
Wasn't quite sure. He was placing them, but I couldn't quite understand who he was telling got first, second. Maybe you caught it, but
And he didn't quite say, so we'll wait for the gentleman at the table to maybe share those. And say he did say that he did hand out 3 blues and 1 red. So we have Bailey Rolfson with the blue,
all right,
Sam
so
Sauer.
Receiving blues will be Bailey, Samantha, and Wyatt. Receiving red will be Sean. All right, keep up the good work, guys. Our next class is going to be senior horsemanship. Senior horsemanship. Senior horse showmanship. You are correct. Senior showmanship. There are 4 of them in there.
All right, so if you happen to miss that, we have Bailey Rolfson and her horse Texas receiving a blue, Sam Sauer, her horse Bailey, receiving a blue, Wyatt Tesh and his horse Dundee receiving a blue, and Sean Vandernald with his horse Scout receiving a red. This judge did not give placings for this class, but overall they did a great job. And as he explained in his reasons, he was looking more for balance, since he didn't have his ideal gelding halter, because at that point then you're moving on to place the horses that you have. And I think they did a good job showing them. So right now the judge is going in to move a couple of cones. What they do is they're moving into their horse showmanship, and so they have a pattern posted on the barn that the 4-Hers go. They typically have a different one for senior, junior, and intermediate classes. And then what they do is they're looking at how they can handle their horse as they enter the ring, how their horse listens to command. So it's more on the exhibitor and how they're able to show their horse from that lead line. So we'll give them a couple minutes. Sometimes they take a couple practice runs, and then they will come in. And we have 4 4-H exhibitors in our senior horse showmanship class.
So, Kate, how long does a typical shower work with their horse? I mean, how many years? Is there like a set thing, or is it more or less just Does it change, I suppose?
And say, in all honesty, it's always a good time to start. And say, if you have the ability to work with your horse all year round, I think that's wonderful. And say, the more you work with your horse, the more hands-on you are, the better off you are, because they remember, but why would they continue to try to do things that they don't have to if you're not around? So continuing to be there present. It's the same with like when you're around more people, maybe you're a better listener. So your horse is a better listener the more time you spend around it.
Sure, and I suppose that comfort level grows the more you're around and work with each other and everything. So.
Yep, and so with these ones, these are all our senior horse showmanship, and these 4 4-Hers have been showing for several years. So these horses have been to the fairgrounds a couple years. This is not their first show, so hopefully they'll be able to show what they've learned over the years, because the point is to grow and improve every year. There's always something when you leave the ring that you could do better, and so this is the time for them to show all the things they learned. They're focusing on how they're able to control their animal, how they're able to set it up, and then also that in the ring presence with the judge.
So like the judge is kind of giving them some instructions there, what he wants them to do?
Yep, so sometimes he will walk through the pattern after they went over it just to give them a heads up. So this one, I can't remember if it's this way for showmanship or not, but if you incorrectly follow the pattern, you may be disqualified for the class, which
Be a bummer.
is a little bit of unfortunate. So
Yeah.
they kind of walk through. And so first we have up Samantha Sauer, who is a senior this year.
So not only does your horse got to be in good shape, but also you do, as you got to run a little bit out there, don't you?
Exactly. And making sure that you're able to run as fast as
Your horse goes, yeah.
your horse goes, then what makes your horse look the best. So as Sam goes to the rails, we've got Bailey up next, who is also a senior. So I don't have the pattern in front of me, but what it looks like it is they walk to the first cone where they wait for their signal from the judge. They walk their horse halfway between to the second cone, and then they go into a trot, and they trot, take a wide circle around so that they come on the right side of the cone, and then they trot to the judge. They stop, and they back up, then set their horse up for inspection.
So he's obviously judging the whole time, though, from the start of the cone, around the cone to the trot, to up to the where he's at, and then he inspects them.
Yep. And so the inspection part, that's also looking again as how you move to show your horse off in his best quarters. And that's one of the things that even in that first class he was walking through, talking how to do that appropriately. So it's good to see that even in showmanship you're reiterating how to best show your horse the whole time. Yep, and I believe this is Emily Kellen, who is in 11th grade, going around now.
So are they judged by how they hold on to the horse too, or how they, when they pose and stop and everything? Are they judged by all that also? How they get to the end and they're turning and stuff like that, or is that just more or less a fundamental thing they're doing there?
Yeah, so like it's looking at how compatible you are with your horse. Like you don't want to be your horse behind you. You want to be with your horse as you're going around. As far as on your halter, like you're looking at and say if you see Emily like it might be a little challenging to see now, but Emily has a chain halter or a chain lead rope on her horse, and so where she holds that halter might also be something that the judge considers.
Okay.
Just it helps show how much control you have over your horse and what it takes for your horse to respond to you. So all of those things could be things that the judge is looking at. And now we have Wyatt Tesh, who's also a 12th grade senior, going around. And see how he's going so that his horse is at a nice even trot. It shows that it's very comfortable. He's not taking his horse too fast. So if his horse maybe had a longer gait, he might have to jog a little bit faster. But no, he's doing a great job moving to show off his horse as the judge comes around. And his horse is set up. So when a horse is set up, you want their front hooves and their back hooves to be even. Oh, and it looks like part of their pattern is also to back their horse up. So, and it's important with this part to do it without touching your horse. So it's that verbal response, maybe that tug on the chain to give them a little bit of a reminder before they go into line.
So that's really got to show how much they work with their horse, when they follow commands and things like that, I would think.
Yep. Oh, yeah. All part of showmanship. And a lot of what showmanship comes down to is the time that you spend outside of the ring. And because that's what all of the time inside the ring amounts to. So. So right now our judge is going around and he's talking with each 4-H'er individually to maybe give him some praise for what went really well and maybe some pointers if there were some things that they could change.
They're explaining to the participants what they did well and what they need to work on. First place goes to Wyatt Tesh. Second place to Emily Kellen. And then receiving reds are Bailey Rolfson and Samantha Sauer. Next up is our junior showmanship. We have one in that class. They can be getting ready.
The judge seems like a character.
Gotta have a good personality to work with kids, you know?
Yeah.
Especially being able to give them, they want that feedback, so being able to give them some comments that maybe they aren't the most exciting to hear, so you got to be able to communicate that well, and I find that typically a good sense of humor does that pretty well.
So Wyatt Tesh, first place winner in this category?
Yep. The second with
We're
Emily
gonna
Kellen.
Quick work on our quarters, so you guys stay there and you walk up to me.
So here Emily is setting up her horse before she is ready to show off her quarters to the judge.
Bring your horse up to the judge, just like this. Not off to the side of the judge. Not mention any names. The judge.
So here he's making a great point. Like while they're presenting their horse, their feet are showing that their attention is on their horse, even though they are looking at the judge, because that eye contact lets you know when you need to change, like whether he's past the shoulders or not.
So nice teaching moment there.
Yep, and that's one of the great things is like with showmanship, we always have the seniors go first. That way the intermediates and juniors have a chance to maybe pick up some pointers and see what the judge is looking for before they enter the ring.
Hopefully they were listening over there.
Yeah.
So we just have one in the junior horse showmanship, it looks like.
Yep, we've got Danielle Tesh. She's in 6th grade, and she shows for the Caledonia Ramblers 4-H Club.
So where are these different clubs out of? Putting you on the spot here, kind of, but we got the we got a couple different ones. Looks like here showing today. Do you know where they're out of?
Yep. So our Caledonia Ramblers, they serve, or I guess that group meets around the Paulina area. That's the one that's in the ring right now.
So that's Polina.
Yep.
And then the G&W feeders.
I don't want to say and be wrong.
Gotcha. That's fine. That is fine. Like I said, I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, so
I should have brushed up before this. So I was all ready to talk horses. I wasn't quite ready to talk where 4-H clubs were in.
It's all good. So she's kind of trotting, and the horse didn't trot a whole lot with her so far. Am I seeing that right, or is that what you're...
It looks like they've got the same pattern. So it's one of those, again, where, as we talked about when Wyatt was in there with his horse, that he was at a very slow jog because that's what his horse needed.
Okay.
So with this one, even though she's a little bit smaller, maybe that's she needed to give her horse a little bit stronger of a command. But she stuck with it, and you see she's got a smile on that she's approaching the judge. But maybe that means she just needed to move a little bit faster to follow her command to really show and confirm that her horse that she really did want her horse to trot.
Looks like she's trying to get her horse to back up a couple times, a couple attempts there.
Yep. She did a great job moving as the judge went around her horse to really show her horse to the best of her ability.
There, he backed up good for her.
And I do have confirmation that G&W Feeders meets in Sutherland.
Okay.
So
I know my kids have been there to a few horse shows over the years.
yep. So
All right, after this is walk trot. Walk trot, you can be, well, she's in the ring, so.
All right. I'm a little nicer to the younger kids than I am the older ones. So we didn't trot at all. She tried. So normally I would give them a red. If they were over in the senior group, I'd say you get a red. But this is my little cowgirl. I remember her. She tries real hard and works hard. So we're going to give you a blue. And the biggest thing you need to work on in showmanship is you don't get attached to the horse. Okay? So when you're setting them up and doing things, you just can't touch them in this one class. Okay? The others, it doesn't matter. And that's the only thing I got to really pick on you, other than get him listening so he trots with you. All right? Good job.
So Danielle Tesh is exiting the ring, and her horse received a blue for showmanship.
All right, so Danielle will be receiving a blue, and we're going to have a little bit of a break here as she gets ready because she's in our next class. It's a walk trot, so we'll have to wait for her to get her horse and you're ready to go.
So back to back for Danielle.
Yep. And so those were the end of all of our halter classes. So we're moving on to everybody's getting their horses saddled up and ready to go, and got a couple of their riding classes, and then eventually they'll move on to games today. So moving along pretty quick.
Thank Bryan County Farm Bureau and the Bryan County Fair Board again for being our sponsors for this. Fuller Digital Solutions broadcast here. Kyle Jorgensen, Madison Jorgensen, and Kate Stewart, right?
Yep.
All right. I'm usually
got
pretty
it.
bad with names, but you have a name tag on, so that helps.
We try to make it easy.
Kate's doing a great job giving us some extra details and information out there. Just a weird year, isn't it, with COVID-19 and, most fairs going to the 4-H fair, 4-H FFA only. So just kind of a different type of year. And
Yep, this is our first day of shows, and that's something I mentioned to Sarah, our county youth coordinator, who works to line up all of our shows, works with our fair boards and our superintendents. It's like it doesn't quite feel like normal. And say normally at this time we'd also be weighing in the rest of our animals, getting them all stalled up and ready for the fair. But I guess it's a blessing that we get to focus on being really present at the shows and supporting our 4-H'ers for the projects that they bring, the time they spent with their animals, and
yeah, that's
we
the one.
kind of go with the flow.
Right. That's the one really nice thing is at least they still get to do this because, they put a lot of time and effort and energy into it. This isn't just pick it up a month beforehand. It's, the show last year gets done and then you start working with your horse again and getting it ready for next year.
Oh, yeah. And it's one of those things you mentioned, going to some shows down in Sutherland. So they have a saddle club down there, and quite a few of these riders here are part of that club as well. So our 4-H'er who went around with the flag for the national anthem, she is actually part of that, and I believe.
You know what we're talking about?
I hope so.
Okay, well, I just let it out.
Thanks. Hey, say, so this is Tom. You work with the riding club down in Sutherland, right?
Yeah.
Saddle club. That's what I was looking for. What is the official title of Robin Rounds, who went around with the flag for the national anthem?
Saddle Club Queen.
So she is this year's Saddle Club Queen. So that passes along for each of the 4-H'ers every year then?
Yeah, whoever comes to Saddle Club.
Yep.
Most of the people here work in there from the Saddle Club.
Yep. So Tom was here saying that most of those who are riding are also there for Saddle Club. So they alternate every couple years, right?
Oh, we get different queen every year.
Yep. Awesome. Good stuff.
As long as we got somebody that wants to do it. We're running out of kids, so we might have to.
Yeah, so if one of them wants to come over, that's fine. Anna or Jillian gonna come on.
All right, so this class is a walk trot class. The participant will not be asked to lope. All they will do is walk and trot.
Yep. Walk top first, right? That'd be great. Actually, do you have an extra thing of the pattern?
We could get our ring pushing leg up.
Only have one.
She's
Okay.
had to make it up. There's going to be a bridge.
He's pretty busy.
A bridge to walk over, 4 poles, a square, to do a 360.
Yep.
Some poles to reach through,
Mhm.
a gate, things of battery, and a tarp to walk on.
Okay. Oh, walk on the tarp. They walk on the tarp. Oh, all right.
Trot your horse, please. Trot your horse.
All right, so here we have Danielle Tesh. She is on the rail with her horse, Rusty. And what they do is the judge is watching the whole way. He's got some signals that he gives to our man on the mic. And he lets the rider know when to change.
Walk your horse, please. Walk.
So now he gave the signal to ask him for a walk. And so he's looking for how long it takes your horse to respond, how the horses listen to you.
Reverse your horse. Reverse your horse, please.
Yep, so looking at how you communicate your horse, how they're continuing to move while staying on the rail. So
Trot your horse, please. Trot.
So the horse seems to respond pretty quick here.
yep, so Danielle's obviously spent a bit of time in the saddle with her horse. It's always good to see.
Stop your horse. Stop your horse on the rail. And back up, please. Back your horse up.
Yep, so you know that the riders really worked with their horse when by the time the person on the mic is given the command, they normally say it like 2 to 3 times, but by the time the person on the mic said it to stop her horse by the third time, her horse was already stopped and waiting for the next command, which is always very impressive to see. And you continue to follow that command until you receive the next. So as you can see, she still was continuing to back her horse
Come
up.
on up. All right, we're going to give her blue because she did everything we asked, when we asked, and she kept her horse along the rail. Good job. Everything was consistent. You get 2 zingers. When you're riding in a bit like that, that's called a curve bit, okay? So it's, you got to ride one-handed. So twice you had to reach up with your second hand, once going down this way to fix something, and then once when you went to back up. You use 2 hands. You don't get to. Okay? So that's the only zinger. Good job. Again, you kept him consistent, on the rail, did what you wanted to do when you wanted him to do it. All right? Great job.
All right, and then you'll be receiving a blue ribbon. Good job. All right, now next up is our Western Pleasure. Western Pleasure is kind of like this class. It's for the older kids. This time they will be asked to low, a little bit faster speed. We do have 4 participants in this class.
So a lot of good comments from the judge for Danielle. Just one thing, she couldn't use 2 hands. Other than that, she did a really good job out there.
Yep, nope, I think she did do a great job. And one of those, like, you could tell, like, she was working hard to only have that one hand up there, and he said it was only, she reached up with her second hand maybe twice, and that's why it wasn't enough to make her receive a red instead, so she was able to keep that blue. But so entering the ring.
Give yourselves plenty of room. This arena's plenty big for the 4 of you, so spread out. If you need to cut across the arena quick, go ahead and do it now before the judge starts judging you. Get spread out.
Yep, so entering the ring, we've got our, we've got 4, currently we've got 3 horses entering the ring to do our Western Pleasure class. And so this is one that, like they were saying as Danielle was leaving the ring last time, this is one where they're adding in a lope as well for a walk trot as part of their different commands. And so at this point, the judge really isn't judging. He's just wanting them to spread out, use all their room. That way when they really let those horses move, they don't have to worry about maybe running into each other. The riders do know what to do if they are coming up and need to pass, and that is something that he'll take into consideration as well. But they'll wait for if there's one more rider coming, otherwise wait for the first command from the man on the mic.
Looks like there's one more coming around there.
Oh, yeah. So on the rail we have Wyatt Tesh with his horse Dundee. We've got Bailey Rolfson with her horse Smoke. And that looks like Samantha Sauer with her horse Patch.
So all 4 of these will go at the same time. And
Yep.
the judge will be watching all 4. So we'll do the best we can with the camera here and try to capture some different horses throughout this one.
Yep, and our fourth horse entered the ring, so with Shut the Gate. So we've got Emily Kellen
All right, that
with
completes
Smoke.
our class.
Just Madison, try to follow each horse a little bit if you can.
Trot your horse, please. Trot.
So you can see even the horses' trots are a little different from one another.
Yep. That's what keeps these classes interesting, especially since like they're all being judged simultaneously, but they all got a little bit of a different gait. And so Wyatt's test has a nice slow
Walk,
trot,
please. Walk your horse.
and some of them just happen to move a little bit faster, even at a walking pace. You can see.
So I'm assuming the commands to the horses is right up on top with the hold on.
Lope, please. Lope.
Ooh, moved them right into a quick one. Yep. So there are a couple different ways that you can work with your horse. Some might be more verbal, and so just saying that change in command, they'll take off. Others, like they might respond just to how you move your legs. And when I was learning to ride, that was one that we tried to focus on. You say your command, you use your legs
Walk,
to
please.
communicate with your
Walk
horse.
So we did have one rider go around the other one.
Yep. Her horse was just going a little bit faster, and so she made the switch so that she gave that horse enough
Reverse on the
space.
rail, please. Reverse.
Yep. But they also, like, the rider does have their hands on the reins, so they might use their reins. Some horses, they are trained so that they only listen to rein commands, and that's
Is that more
acceptable
of
as well.
a comfort level type thing then of how you want to work with your horse and train with them?
Yep. So, yep, exactly. It's really looking at how you work with your horse, how your horse responds to you, and that
Lope,
could really
please.
dictate
Lope
how you give
horse,
your commands.
please.
So are they judged about how close they ride to the rail too? Or if they get away further? Or not
It's
really?
not as much of a factor. However, you do want to be on the rail. I mean, it gives you, because it gives courtesy to the judge to be able to see the other riders. Because if you're running a smaller circle than the others, I mean, you're only seeing that, oh, your horse is,
Trot your horse,
maybe your horse
please.
isn't listening
Trot.
to you, or maybe it doesn't do well around these other horses. So when you're in Western Pleasure, you're also able to see how it works with the other animals in the ring as well.
Extend your trot, please. Extend your trot. Regular trot. Trot your horse, please.
Yep, so there they just went from an extended trot to a regular trot. So that was looking at how you are in the saddle,
Stop
but
your
also the
horse
speed of your horse's
And
trot, I
back
believe.
it on the rail, please.
Boy, I tell you, they're all pretty much about instantaneously. When they get a command, they're all, boom, stopped and they're moving. And it's,
Yep.
good, it's a good set of horses here.
Yeah, these horses are a pair of pretty
All
good
right,
ones.
line up. Facing the ring man, please.
guys. Good job. Much better than last year. But I do remember last year we discussed working on our leads, getting the correct lead both directions. One of you did. One of you fixed it, or your horse did, one or the other. We just got to work on that, okay? Because it isn't going to matter what you're doing. Western Pleasure, pulls, barrels, whatever, they've got to be in the correct lead to go do the right thing, the fastest, the prettiest, whatever, okay? So I'm procrastinating, trying to decide what to do. Number 69, red shirt, walk out. So this is our first place horse. She was pretty consistent. She got a pretty horse, moves nice, and she got both leads correctly, okay? You other three struggled with that. I do want to point out, though, the buckskin on the end here, do we consider him a buckskin or done? Huh? Done, okay. I like this horse all day long. He's not a Western Pleasure horse. He's a ranch horse. But I like this horse. And when you took the wrong lead, I wanted to throw my book at you. You're killing me, man. He did everything else perfect. I mean, under control, walked quietly, trotted quietly, extended his jog that other direction quietly, loped nice. Just good handle on this horse. But you're killing me. So we're definitely going to blue here. I gotta give you the other three reds for being in the wrong lead, okay? Just because I hammered on you last year about it, okay? I'm gonna drive up here next year if you're showing just to watch, okay? But you guys did good, okay? Our buckskin horse, cool horse. You just gotta work on him being in the bit in your hand and not so charging, okay? The black and white, that horse got a good handle on him too. He's a neat pony all day long. So, good job, guys. Thank you.
So the leads there was the big factor, huh?
Yep. So what he was looking at is as the horse is going around, their inside leg, front and hind legs should be extending farther than their outside. So when they switch, the horse has to switch leads because they have other legs are more farther forward, like they're towards the center. So you're always looking at that center leg should be the one that the horse is reaching for. So it's really showing how that horse extends
Now we're going to be moving on
and
to
moves a little bit
horsemanship.
more.
I believe we're going to have a little bit of a tack change and stuff here, getting ready to go. But horsemanship is up next. We do have 4 participants in this class.
All right, so we kind of spoke over the placings, but for Senior Western Pleasure, we ended the class with Emily Kellen and her horse Smoke, with first place Blue, Bailey Rolfson and her horse Smoke. Ooh, I wonder if that's right. 2 smokes in that class. With a red, Samantha Sauer with her horse Patch, with receiving a red, and Wyatt Tesh with his horse Dundee receiving a red.
So what? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to-
I was just going to say that they're moving into senior horsemanship. Those some horses might be changing their tack before they come back in, so we'll see what enters the ring.
It was interesting. The judge was kind of picking on Wyatt a little bit, but his horse did pretty much everything flawless except for the leads out there. So, just sounds like his horse might have gotten a blue otherwise. So, looks like we got a couple interviewees coming over here.
He'll just talk to you.
All right, so got a couple young ladies here with us. We got Jillian Heemstra and Anna Fredrickson, right? So how we doing today, ladies?
We're doing good. It's a nice day out today. Better
Beautiful.
Than yesterday.
Much better than yesterday, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yesterday would have been miserable out here. So tell us what, see, so we got 2019 O'Brien County Fair Princess Jillian, right?
Yep.
And then Fair Queen from last year, correct? All right, so just part of your duties from last year? Is that what you're doing here today?
Yeah, we actually have coronation tonight, so we'll be passing down our crowns at 8 p.m. tonight.
So coming down to the final hours of your crown.
Yeah. It's weird.
A year goes quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
And especially with just being a strange year with COVID-19 and everything going on. So tell us what some of your duties were throughout the fair last year, and then leading up to this point this year.
We had to do several different parades, from the Labor Day one in Sutherland and Sheldon, and then we did the Cobblestone Days parade here in town in Primgar. And then
During the fair, we usually just gave out ribbons and the trophies, and we're there for people just to give out, just to give them ribbons and to give them their trophies.
And we did the figure 8 races too last year. That was very fun.
We got to be the trophy queens,
Yep.
and then Mitchell, our king, who couldn't be here for the horse show, was also there helping us out.
Nice. So the races are always one of the favorite things.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Me and Anna, we've really never gone to the races much, and Mitchell, all of his family does the races all the time, so it was fun having him there to explain to us what was
Yeah,
going
we were
on.
asking so many different questions about it.
Yeah. Well, good. So yeah, you guys are both seniors, obviously going on to college this next year. Where are you going to school at, and what are you majoring in?
I will be going to University, and I'll be majoring in ag science, and I'll also be throwing on their track and field team.
I was just thinking that. I remember talking to you during basketball. I
Yep.
thought you said you were going to be in track. So
Yep.
nice.
And then I'm going to UNI in Cedar Falls for elementary ed, and then I'm going to get a K-8 math minor
Okay.
with it.
Nice. So a future teacher on hand. Huh?
Yeah.
Nice. So softball season just came to an end, obviously,
Yeah, it
this
did.
last week. But tonight, Fuller Digital Solutions doing the horse show here, but we'll be doing the queen crowning too. So how many people are participating tonight? Do you know?
There's
12.
yeah.
I think it's 12 altogether.
Yep.
12.
3 boys, and then the
9.
rest are
Yeah.
the girls running. So
So pretty good size, for
Yeah.
even considering COVID-19 and everything going on. So good.
yeah.
So I suppose you guys giving out any advice or anything to anybody going up there today, or is it just going on experience of watching from years past when they go up there?
Yeah, kind of make the most out of it. Really, it's honestly, the coronation's so much fun. Me and Anna had a blast
Yeah.
last year, and when we
Doing
got
the
crowned
games
and
and-
stuff,
Yeah.
it was just so much fun. Because with us being such good friends, being able to have this experience together,
Together, yeah.
it was just fun.
Yeah, it was.
That's what it's all about, right? Having fun,
New
and whether
experiences and
you win or don't win,
Right.
whatever, it's experience and having fun and
yeah.
whatever else it might be. So, well, sounds good. Maybe we'll. I don't know. I suppose you're busy during the queen crowning tonight, but I would say maybe we could pull you in for a little bit tonight
Yeah,
during the show and
Yeah,
talk
we
to you. And
Yeah, we won't be probably as busy as some of the candidates.
sure.
We're just the MCs for tonight for the candidates.
Okay.
Just announcing them on
Yep.
and stuff.
Well, that
We have a
sounds.
fun game plan
Yeah,
too
we do.
for them.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Is this a secret?
We've
Yes.
been keeping it pretty undercover so far.
All right.
Only me, Anna, and Mitchell know
Yep.
of it so far.
I won't even ask you then because you don't want to let the cat
Just
out of
have
the
to
bag
watch it tonight.
beforehand, right? So, well, sounds good. We appreciate you guys coming over and talking to us, and maybe we'll chat with you a little bit tonight.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's Anna Fredrickson and Jillian Heemstra. And we'll bring Kate back on. And this is the senior horsemanship.
Yep. So this is where they're looking at similar to showmanship, except for the rider. You have a rider versus walk next to your horse, but same concept. So going now, we have Sam Sauer in the ring, and we've got 3 exhibitors. We've got Sam Sauer, Emily Kellen, and Wyatt Tesh. Wyatt Tesh is approaching the cone now. Got the nod from the judge. Start the pattern.
So are they being judged? Obviously, this is the one that you're judged throughout the whole day on how you handle your horse and different things. But obviously now they got certain patterns they have to follow and things too.
Yep. Yep. So it looks like once they walk to the second cone, and it looks like they're trotting their horse in a figure eight around that second cone before they head to the next. Give them a little kick to the third cone and stop. Back up. And so in this pattern, there's he gives them like back your horse up like 4 steps. I'm not sure what the pattern is for this one. So it might look a little different from each horse. We'll see. And then once he is back to horse up, he completes the pattern. And Emily Kellen is taking her horse to the second cone.
So Emily Kellen, who just won, right? The Western Pleasure.
Yes. Yep.
So same horse, I believe, right?
I believe so. I think this is her horse Smoke.
Which is kind of fitting with the color of the horse.
Mm-hmm. I bet they probably looked and be like, oh, this horse just looks a little like Smoke. Depending on how it looked when it was little, probably could have called it Fog too.
There you go. Just kind of depends on, I suppose, your feeling of the horse and what you want to name it.
Yeah. And say my horse's name is Gizmo, and for the life of me, I couldn't tell you how we got that name. He's just the previous owner was like, "Oh, we just think this one will be good," and it stuck.
Just
doesn't look like a gizmo, but he acts like one.
just what felt right, right?
Yep.
All right, nice job. I knew you'd get it right, Lee. Good job. All right. So for those who don't know, what we're looking for in horsemanship is how well they guide their horse around on a pattern. Okay, so what we did was we walked from first cone, second cone, we trotted a figure eight and loped on the right lead to the third cone, stop and back up. So I'm looking for a straight line. I'm looking for 2 perfect circles in that figure eight. Lope off in the correct lead to stop at the cone and back nicely. We all did that. One of us was on the wrong side of the cone when we stopped. Won't mention any names. But your pattern was beautiful. Everything else was perfect. All 3 of you, it was great. Got to stop at the cone, not past the cone. Okay? You're the only one I ain't picking on today. Not there. But great patterns. I liked the smoothness of your pattern the best. 69. Okay, so I give you first, second. You got third because wrong side of the cone. But your pattern was great. You guys, all 3 have excellent horsemanship skills. Okay, you sit where you're supposed to. Your hands are quiet. You do everything right. You're not up there bouncing around and banging on the horse. So, excellent horsemanship skills. I'm big on that. All right, thank you. Good job.
All right, first place to Emily, second place to Samantha, and third place to Wyatt. Our next class is going to be novice horsemanship. We have 1 participant in novice horsemanship.
So Emily kind of cleaning house here. Back-to-back first places. Doing
Sure
a good job.
seems like it. Yep. She brought her A game today for sure.
So novice showmanship coming up next. It's like a 7th grader.
Yep. We've got Sean Vandernold from the Caledonia Ramblers. If I remember correctly, I believe this is his first year showing horses at the O'Brien County Fair. So it's fun to see a few new ones. Hopefully he has a good time and he'll be back next year.
That's the thing, sticking with it, right?
I mean,
Keep
you got
coming.
the horse anyway. It's just you get to showcase it one more day out of the year, even if you're going to open shows and whatnot. So why not?
So you work in the extension office up here?
I do. I am O'Brien County's K-12 program coordinator.
Okay.
So a lot of what I do are in-school and after-school programs, and then I help run our summer camps, which look a little bit different this year, but we made adjustments. And
Yeah. Doing more virtual things, or are you guys meeting, or somewhat, or?
Yep. So what we decided to do is we changed all of our camps into what we call Clover crates, which we put all the materials and instructions, both written and photo, into the crate. The kid is able to pick up their crate, and they have everything in order to complete the activities they would have done at an in-person camp. And then to give them that camp experience and the interaction with other campers they would have had, we hosted a virtual Zoom where they were able to come on with one of our summer educators, whether in STEM, robotics, or cooking and the arts, and they're able to do those activities together and really problem solve together, interact, show how they made their activities, and just be able to kind of still be together in a different kind of summer.
Nice that they can still have those activities and things to do, and even during a time like this.
Yep.
Hopefully, I guess I keep hoping things will get back to normal, but everyone says it's going to be a new normal. But
You know, and I think it will be, but one of the things with this is we learned some other ways that we are able to reach youth through this time, and I think from what we've learned at this point, we're going to be able to continue on some of those things, even when we hopefully are able to go back to in-person programming, and that's what's important. So entering the ring is Sean, and he is walking to our ringman at the first cone, waiting for instructions from the judge.
so you can hear the judge giving them some instructions out there, telling them what to do.
Yep, so he gave him a pattern, but also since this is a novice class, there might be a little bit more hands-on. The big part is it's a learning experience, and this is the time for them to really communicate and work on and change, and at the same time, while they're in the ring, walk through what those changes look like, what they feel like. That way he's able to know for the next time he's in the ring, or even at the very least, by the time he exits the ring, he's done it correctly, so he knows what that's supposed to be like. His horse knows what that's supposed to feel like, what that's supposed to sound like.
He was ready to exit the arena, but judge says, "Come back on over. Let's give you a few comments here." And
It's like, I did my pattern. I'm ready to go.
I'm out of here.
On to the next. I think we've got games coming up, and he is ready.
This is moving right along.
All right, I've been informed this is his first year. First time showing horse too, bud? First year, first time? All right, good job. It's tough. All right, you did good coming out here alone and doing all this for the first time. So good job. You got some things to polish on, work on. Make sure that horse walks with you. Make sure he stops with you. Work on your quarters, okay? All that's going to come together. Make sure he trots with you, okay? But you came out here tough. Did this all alone, all right? So you did a good job. We all got to start somewhere, and you probably look 100,000 times better than when I looked the first time I had a show, trust me, all right? So, good job.
So just some feedback there for him.
Yep, overall,
So
especially
that
for the
Sean
first
will
time.
be receiving a red. Next up is going to be our senior trail class. It looks like we have 3 participants in the senior trail class. You'll see a skid loader out there setting that up, hauling all of our obstacles out there.
But no, especially for a first time, Sean sure did a great job. Handled his horse. You could tell that he had been watching some of the kids earlier in the ring. Did a great job. Presented his horse best he could. And I think, especially with this judge, she does a great job talking with him, even throughout that pattern. So hopefully he learned a lot and he's able to recognize that and use that next time he enters the ring.
So those are some things he can take home with them in practice and work with his horse on, and that's what it's all about, I suppose, is practice and time put in, and just like anything you're going to do.
Yep, and say the only way we get better at sports is by practicing, and with livestock, it's one of those things that you are the initiator of that practice, and these judges kind of serve as your coaches. And say we also are very fortunate here in O'Brien County. We've got our superintendents, loads of volunteers, very supportive parents who help get these kids to shows, to workouts, help put the ring together, man the ring, help guide them around as they're either on their horse or they're walking next to it the whole way through. So very fortunate for the support.
Yeah, you kind of forget about that, like you said, but it's all the support from all the volunteers and the boards and the parents, and countless trips the parents make for not just shows but everything involved with the horse, whether it's getting it feed or
feed,
the vet
checks, all that stuff. And especially like when you're 4-H, like you're learning how to care for this animal. That's also part of it. And so being able to recognize, oh hey, like how is your horse acting, did they like their feed, do we need to change it? So really being observant, and a lot goes into that, even beyond what you think of when you're caring for an animal. So.
Does the judge ask him in the showmanship portion of it what they feed him and stuff like that? I know some other exhibits they do, or like the beef show, and like the Cherokee County one that I was talking about. I know they were asking them what they fed them and different things, how many times a day, what they all worked with them on, stuff like that. So wasn't sure if they did that with horses or not, but
I know for all the other species they definitely do, especially in showmanship. I would almost assume that at least in your junior or novice showmanship they might ask how you care for your animal or what that looks like, but I can't say for certain. It's been a while since I've been on that side of things, so I'm not sure.
A couple of years, huh?
Yeah.
So is this senior trail class, so are they basically making a trail for the horse to follow?
Yep, so with this what they'll do is they're going to set out different, what you might call obstacles, that if you're going to go on a trail ride with your horse might encounter or have to do. So they utilize different things. So right now they're taking off some poles. Those might be similar to like weaving in between trees on a trail. I know that they've got a tarp that the horse might have to walk over. I guess I think of that as a bunch of crunchy leaves, or what does that look like? Sometimes the change in color from the ground might resemble like a stream. I know that they've got a bridge that they'll do, so if you're different styles of bridges, what that looks like going over. I think one of the volunteers mentioned that they've got a box that they'll have to do like a 360 turn in, so maybe that's getting to a point that you think you're going to be able to go, you realize you went the wrong way, so you've got to turn around in a tight spot and be able to move out safely.
So basically anything you could encounter out there in the wilderness or on a path, or.
Yep, and say I always remembered one of the staples when I showed was we had two, and I only really remember the two that my horse didn't love. But one of them was retrieving something out of a mailbox, which I do see a mailbox over there on the sideline, so we'll see if that gets brought out for this class. So you have to be able to take it out, show it, put it back in, all with your horse being there, being cooperative. And then the other was they would have a tarp that was hanging up or a rain jacket, and so you had to pick it up and you had to maybe move it from one pole to another. And especially with that tarp, it's crinkly, it's something different. It's really gets them on edge sometimes. So, and that's one of those testaments to how much are you working with your horses? Did you practice this? Have you did you ride in the rain? Is he used to a raincoat sound? Those type of things. Another one that I've seen here in the past, at least last year for sure, they have them open and close a makeshift gate while remaining in the saddle. So they put up different challenges, and those sometimes will vary between what age group. But yeah, really anything they could encounter.
So they don't know, obviously, what for sure they're all going to encounter in this particular event, because it could be different from event to event or year to year.
Yep, so it can be different year to year. What they do is on the side of our side of one of the barns is where we post our patterns. So that's where you have your showmanship, your horsemanship. You also have your trail pattern. So the judge puts that together. He posts it so you know what to expect.
Good afternoon,
but it is a
everyone.
day of
Ham's
thing.
ice cream truck is open, and there is ice cream and smoothies available. So go get something to cool off with up at the ice cream truck. Thanks.
Who doesn't like ice cream?
I sure do. I have always got room for ice cream. You can't say no.
Even if you're full, it kind of just melts down in between, right?
Yep, I was like, that's something that's just for the cracks.
There is also water available over here at the blue tent for $1 if you need something to drink. Thanks.
So the judge, active participant here.
Yeah, it's nice that he's able to lend a helping hand. So I think this again just goes to show how hands-on he is. He's measuring to make sure that's how far apart he needs it to be for that square where he's going to have the horse turn in. And so just making sure he's got accurate expectations for the kids and gives them something that they're able to do. Also going in and help make sure those boards don't move, because one of the things that happens with horses, their hoof might catch it and it'll move, and
sure.
That's where we have these volunteers to go back and fix them. But if anything you can do in the beginning to hopefully maybe keep them settled, it's always helpful.
You can kind of hear the judge cracking some jokes out there.
Like you said earlier, he's definitely got a sense of humor. Makes for a pretty smooth day when you're able to make it a good time. Don't have to worry about
I think it
tricky
makes
personality sometimes.
Right. I think it makes you probably feel a little less intimidated too, as a participant out there.
Yep, because normally the people who joke with you are the people you spend time with. So any way you're able to increase that comfort level is always a good thing. It looks like they're almost ready. They've just got a couple more things to set out.
So this will be the senior trail class, and then the juniors. Will the juniors be pretty similar to this, do you think, or will they change that in between?
I don't really know without looking at what they posted for patterns.
Gotcha.
It very well could be, and say for the most part, your bridge is pretty
so
standard.
This is going to be your trail class. I didn't look at the pattern or anything. What they're going to do is they're going to come in the gate. They're going to walk over this little bridge we have here. And then they're either going to come around here and walk or trot over these 4 poles that we have laying on the ground here, these 4 fence posts. Then they go into that square we made out of fence posts. They stand in there and they do a complete circle. They come out of there, they weave the poles at either a trot or a lope or something. And then you see the white gates we got sitting over there. That represents an open gate. They got to go over to it and back through it. And then on the far end, right before they exit the gate, we have 2 posts on the ground with an orange tarp. They have to go over top of that orange tarp. And then they're done.
So did I hear right, or I guess the other day I was up here with my boss, Simon Fuller, and we were talking to Kevin Mars and his daughter Emily. Is she an intern within your office this summer? Is that right?
Yes. So Emily is our summer intern.
Judge
She
is
works
ready whenever
really
you
close
guys
with
are.
Sarah Fidelki, our county youth coordinator. So they did a lot of the legwork, and I say all because really they took the meat and potatoes of it and put it together. All the shows, they are always working to put programs together, make sure when they have weigh-ins, they have all the weights in for the rest of the classes. But yep, so she's one of our interns. She's O'Brien County 4-H'er, or previously was. So it's really great to see that she was able to return and help out because, like, she knows the atmosphere. She's familiar with what's expected for each of the shows, as she's previously been involved in all of them. So it's great to have someone who's from the area come back.
Definitely, and experienced and kind of knows the ropes. And
Yeah. So here we have Emily Kellen and her horse Smoke doing our trail pattern. Oh, her horse did step out, but she's doing a pretty good job. I don't know if she chooses, she might go back in and try and redo that, because one of the things, like, you are looking for completion of the pattern, even if it takes a couple tries.
And even more of a challenge now because that one board kind of got moved in a little bit. So even a smaller square to try to turn around in.
Yep. And that's one of those things that might have been a little tricky just because coming off that bridge, and if you took those first 4 fence posts at a trot, I mean, you come into that box going a little quick, and then you're immediately going to a stop and then into a turn.
So if it takes multiple times, is that frowned upon from the judge? You know, if your horse has to go 2 or 3 times, or how does he judge that, or are you not sure?
You know, that might be a great question for him. I think overall he's looking for them to officially complete the pattern correctly, because if you don't say the horse isn't able to back through that gate, like Emily's just did very well, and you decide to skip it, that's considered breaking the pattern, and you would essentially not get a blue ribbon. So I definitely think it's far better to stick with it and complete the pattern.
Complete it, sure.
Even if that gets you down to a red or a white ribbon, it shows that you stuck with it, and you're still working to communicate with your horse and make sure that it's able to complete the tasks that are asked of it. Here we've got Samantha Sauer and her horse Patch going over the bridge.
So I had a couple steps out.
Yep, but overall was still able to complete that circle. I'm not sure how the judge will score that, but completed the pulls that came next very, very well. So we'll see how they do with backing through the gate.
Nice job.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and walked over that tarp very, very smoothly.
So the biggest challenge so far has been the square and turning around for the first 2 horses, but everything else has been done really nice.
Oh yeah, it'll be very interesting to see if the junior trail class is still set up the same. And I believe our last entry for our senior trail class will be Wyatt Tesh, who's in the ring now with his horse Dundee. Ooh, and Wyatt's horse did a beautiful 360 turn inside that square.
That one's got to be impressive to the judge there of the three horses.
Oh, yeah. Then I wonder at the beginning of the pattern, I think coming off the bridge there to trot to these poles. And say I saw that a little bit on Sam's horse and again on Wyatt's. And I think ultimately it sets him up really well going into the turn. Just at a slower pace.
So well done there by Wyatt. So the horses do they all come back in to be judged, or do they just announce it from here pretty much, or?
Nope, I think what they'll do is they'll take this time they'll announce his final results, and then during that time the volunteers will be changing the arena, maybe fixing the pattern. If he did have a couple things that he wanted them to try, he might ask for them to come back and maybe try, make some adjustments with him in the ring, but I think that's up to the judge.
Oh, as far as maybe changing the pattern a little bit is what you're saying, or something that's out there.
Yep.
All right, that was our senior trail class. Next up is our junior trail class. Same setup. They're just going to be doing it a little different. I think they're walking or something instead of trotting through a couple of them, something like that. But for our seniors, first place receiving a purple is Wyatt Tesh. And then receiving blues are Emily and Samantha. So good job.
Good patterns, guys. Very good. A lot better than last year. So what we're looking for is when they go over these obstacles, they do them willingly. Like the bridge, they don't balk at it. They just walk up on it nice and quiet. The logs, we're looking for them to walk right down the middle of those logs and not click them. Every time you click a log, it's a half point. If you click it really hard and almost move it, that's a 1 point deduction, okay? The 360 box, same thing. If you click a log, half point deduction. If you step out of it, it's a 5 point deduction. And if you move the log, it's a 10 point deduction, okay? The trot through cone, poles, again, we're looking for consistency, quiet, maneuverability. They go through it. They're guided through it nicely, quietly. Everybody did that. We don't get to have gates anymore this year. So this is our way we combat that is put them up there and then the kids back through them. Again, we're wanting a horse that will back readily and listen. And they all did that great. Tarp, that can be a tricky one. Haven't got to see a tarp in a few years. Horses tend to get a little scared. They did great. Every one of them walked right over it. So I told you the penalties on that. A maneuver score that we look for on each obstacle is up to +3 or down to -3. So if you go over it nicely, quietly, pretty, without balking, in rhythm, you can get up to +3 points. So everybody did a really good job. I'm very impressed. Good job.
So with that, I wonder if it was almost better going through the square if you hit a log to just complete it, like complete your try and move on and say, I'm not sure if that would equate to multiple deductions if you kept hitting the log, or if you gave it one go, maybe hit it and continued to move on and just took your +or-3.
So, right, like you're talking our first rider, she came in there and she started turning and the horse hit that back log and knocked it out, and then she stepped out. So that would have been a So a 10-point deduction for hitting the log?
I believe so, because the log actually moved. And say versus, I think, what did he say? It was a half point or -5 if he
Right.
just hit it a little bit. So, but in here we have our junior trail class beginning. This is Danielle Tesh with her horse Rusty.
That's a good horse name. I like that.
Oh, I think so too.
Nice job.
Yep. Especially when that horse's attention was somewhere else. I know some horses, if they decide that they've got to go, they're going to stop and not move. And as a rider, sometimes that can be frustrating in a show scenario. But no, her horse listened very well.
Boy, that young lady did a great job. Danielle
She sure
Tesh.
did. She sure did.
I think she would have competed with the seniors on that one.
Yep, and she's a 6th grader. And say that just goes to show like the time you spend with your horse. That was awesome. Oh, and you unfortunately you probably couldn't see it, but she walked out of the ring and her dad gave her a big old high five.
Nice.
All right, and this should be Sean Vandernald with his horse Scout.
And you said this was his first year showing?
I believe so, yes. And so I know that they hosted a couple of horse workouts, and they encouraged exhibitors to come just to be at the space, try out some things. And they normally have at least one of them specific where they put out the trail stuff, set things up so they can run games. And so this may be his first time in here with these different things, or like if he rides his horse at home, he's more supposed to be used to something already similar. So, well, that's a good turn. There you go.
You know, he did a good job after initially the horse going through, getting back control.
Yep. I get the feeling going through those poles that that horse is used to seeing those pull before, and it's ready to go fast. Because normally, when those poles are out, that's for pole bending for one of the games, and those horses speeds everything. So.
Horse doesn't want to back up for him.
Nope.
He is a ways from the kind of the gate, so maybe that would. All right, Scout, back through there for him.
He's just not wanting to do that today. All right, and now they're on to the walking over the tarp. Ended on a high note. I'd say that overall that's pretty good. And say back in through those gates that could be pretty challenging sometimes. Most of the times, even like your senior exhibitors, like the gate one is always a challenge. So.
All right, that was our junior trail class. So receiving purple will be Danielle, and receiving in blue will be Sean. Very good, guys. Very good.
What? No, I'm fine, thanks.
All right, so next is going to be our senior costume class, and unfortunately, we only have one person in it this year. After our costume class, we're going to have egg and spoon.
So they're going around, they're going to start picking these things up, but we do have one entry for our costume class, and I always think this is pretty funny. So they get to, both the exhibitor and their horse get to dress up as something. It can be as a pair, it can be as a united costume, and sometimes you can see some pretty wild things. And say, I think last year we had someone who dressed up, like they had like a medieval theme, so like their horse was ready for battle. They were dressed, and it was a hot, sweltering day, and that was their costume. They walked out. They did very, very well. But we've got one entry today, and hopefully some of them they'll see it. Oh, that's something unique. It's a different twist on a horse show.
But that sounds kind of fun, and it's kind of open-ended. You know, you could do a lot of different things there and be creative.
Yep. And I remember the first costume class that I saw, one of the people did that. They had a pony, and they dressed them and themselves up as cotton candy.
Cotton candy.
Yep. So they had like the pink fluff and a lot of blue fluff in it.
Nice.
That horse was just like you want your horse to be well conditioned for the fair, and that one would just look like it was a big old ball rolling through. Just the way they designed their costume. So
I just think this is cool that the judge is out there helping. You know, he wouldn't have to, but got a horse getting a little wild over there, did we?
it looked like a decided it might have gotten a little tired and wanted to lay down. So nothing to worry about, luckily. But yeah, he was just a little tired. He's like, "Oh, I'm done with all 2 classes. Got a bath this morning. I can roll in the dirt." So
I don't blame him. A nap's nice once in a while, right? Want to lay down and.
I mean, yeah. And especially when it's warm, maybe you wanted a little bit of, maybe like a back scratch. I'm not sure. All could have been part of it.
Got to say, it's pretty comfortable here in the shade, though.
Yeah.
Shade with the breeze going, and
Yeah, I can't say I can complain. We're, like you said earlier, we're very fortunate that horse show is today and not yesterday. Might have been a different story.
84 degrees out. Feels like 84, so that's always the key thing, right? Is the feels like temperature. Yesterday was 105 or 106, feel like, I think.
Ew.
So, yeah. And with that humidity, and today's not, you know, the humidity's way down, it feels like. So.
I know. If only we could have that continue for the rest of the week, that'd be great.
And some rain. Some rain would be really nice. Mm-hmm. You know, the farmers are wanting some rain.
It'd be appreciated. I remember last year it was pretty good. We had a couple really hot days, but there was at least 1 or 2 where you at least started the morning in like a sweatshirt and shorts, and it just like set the tone. Like the rest of the day didn't get too hot. Always had popsicles though, because gotta find some way to
cool down a little bit.
Cool down every once in a while. But so I think they got the arena cleared and ready to go. They're probably gonna have their solo entry, Sam Sauer, walk in with her horse Bailey for their costume class.
How'd you do, sweet pea?
It's kind of interesting. They have the birth date of the horse on here. So this horse was born May 16, 2006.
Yep. And who knew at this age it would be a box of crayons? But nope. Like that horse is having a good time. It's got its ears forward, it's very attentive. Doesn't mind being a box of crayons, standing next to his blue crayon exhibitor.
Well, costume's always fun, and we only had one taker I see this year, so she obviously is going to get the token purple. Because anybody will dress up and come out here and have fun and do this deserves a purple, so thank you.
Well, that was short and sweet with one participant.
Yep. It's one of those, I mean, unfortunately, with the way the year went, if people wanted to make their own costumes, they might just not have had enough time or been waiting for decisions on what they were going to bring to fair and whatnot. So it's nice that we were at least still able to have one, because then next year, like, oh yeah, last year Sam went as a box of crayons. Like, we can literally come up with anything and we can make a costume out of it. So.
I was thinking earlier, we had that horse, Rusty, and it reminds me, and I'm not sure if you're a Seinfeld fan.
I've seen a couple. I wouldn't, if you quote it, I definitely couldn't tell you what episode it's from, that's for sure.
There's an episode, basically they had in New York City, they had a horse-drawn carriage type thing that you could take a ride through New York and kind of do like a fun type thing, and Kramer, who's one of the characters on there, is a little wild and crazy, and he gets
he's the life of the show.
He is. he gets the guy that runs it had to be gone, so Kramer takes it over to make some quick money, and he feeds the horse beefarino. And
no.
You could about imagine. So George got himself in a tight spot. So he had his future in-laws that were going to go on this carriage ride, so he could go up in the apartment. And
just his luck, he's got Kramer behind the reins.
And he was going to replace the marble rye bread as part of the episode. So the in-laws get on there and they start trotting, and of course Rusty has some really bad gas from the beefarino, so they came back a lot sooner, and George got busted. So just, I don't know, whenever I think of Rusty, that was the horse's name in the episode was Rusty.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I don't believe we have any cart classes, but that would be something funny to see, like a kid going on a pattern and, oh man,
right,
that horse had something different for breakfast
right.
this morning.
Yes. Is this the last class that I'm seeing that we have, or is there more after this?
We're going into our senior egg and spoon.
Okay.
And then we've still got all of our games classes.
Okay.
Yet, so we're going to have...
I was just looking on the app on here, and maybe I'm just not getting them to pull up. So.
No, I'm not sure. Nope, we've still got senior and junior barrels, senior and junior flag race.
Oh, that's why.
We've got a speed dash, poles, keyhole, and streaking.
On the app there, I clicked on the first part of it. I see it now. There's 3 different tabs, so it's kind of cool. If you go on your phone, you can download the Bryan County Fair app, 4-H app, and they got all the programs and stuff on here. So, yeah, I was just clicked on the first one. That's why I wasn't seeing the rest. So this will be fun. Oh yeah, we got barrels yet.
Got all the fast ones left.
Speed dash.
It's exciting.
Poles.
Yep. And I know we've got a couple. I want to say we've got about 8 pages of programs. So should be a good one. So right now we've got our senior age group exhibitors. They are finding their place on the rail with their horses, spreading out. So what they're doing with Egg and Spoon is they've got a plastic spoon, and some fairs have a real egg, some hard boil them, some are wooden eggs. I'm not sure what they've got in their hand now, but their task for this event is to hold the end of their spoon, and on the other end is an egg sitting in it, and so that The judge is going to have them walk, trot. He might make them lope. We'll see.
All right.
I mean, it's basically
Fingers
the
off
last
the
man
ends.
standing.
And walk, please. Walk.
So as soon as that exhibitor
Drops
the egg,
they're done.
they're done.
You know, I have a hard enough time doing this just in my kitchen. I don't know about doing this on a horse.
Trot, please. Trot.
Yep.
And they're supposed to stay along the
Oh.
rail.
So the first one's out. Exhibitor 110, I believe, is Robin Rounds. And I think that's also Bailey Rolfson that came in as well. So far on the rail, we've still got Kim Sauer going around. Wyatt Tesh.
She's holding it with her left hand. It's maybe a
Oh,
lefty.
I wonder if she's a lefty.
Maybe a
Lope
lefty.
your horses, please.
Oh,
Lope.
he's going to make them go. Yep. Oh, Sam Sauer's coming in too. So this one,
Stop your horses, please. Stop. Stop your horses, please. And back up.
and say with this
Back
one,
on the rail, please.
they're not only keeping that egg and spoon on, they're also having to be aware of where the other
Reverse your
horses are,
horses,
since it's
please.
a
Reverse.
simultaneous event. So I think that says a lot for the horsemanship to be able to have that control.
Feet out of the stirrups. Take your feet out of the stirrups. And trot. Feet out of the stirrups and trot, please.
Yep, so right now we've got Wyatt Tesh, Emily Kellen, and Kim Sauer still going around. It's only a matter of time
No.
before the judge is able to trip him up.
Oh. All right, reverse the trot, please.
Oh,
Reverse.
Wyatt Tesh is out. Kim Sauer and her horse just did a great turn, as did Emily Kellen.
Lope, please. Lope your horses, please. Lope.
Oh, Kim Sauer's egg fell. Oh,
Winner.
Emily soon to follow, but Emily Keller would take first place.
Literally the last one with their egg is the winner, huh?
Yep, last man standing.
That is fun.
But I would say for that last one, like that last command, they were asked to go into a lope with their feet out of the stirrups, which takes a lot of your balance out. So being able to keep that egg on even for that long, I think, is a big feat.
That was fun.
Yep. And it's just like it's similar to costume. It's a fun event that it's just good to try and say there's no great way to practice though. It's like it's just another way to have a good time.
Man,
Try
I thought
something
you were
new.
Turning them loose there with that one signal. I was looking forward to that.
This is a nice, fun way to, have some fun. To kind of not much of a serious one, but
Yeah. And I mean, why not? I mean, time with your horses, like, yes, you put in the work and say they follow all these instructions, be able to have some fun. So this is one that's a fun time for the exhibitors. And then there are other ones, like when you get into those games, like some horses just love to run, and that's the fun events for them as well. So
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk to you after this class on things. You're supposed to keep the egg on the spoon.
All right, our next class is going to be Junior Egg and Spoon. Junior Egg and Spoon.
so we get to watch another one, Egg and Spoon, with Danielle Tesh and Sean Vandernold. That'll be fun.
Yep. I think so too. I think this will be a good one, just to show that it's a great day to have a good time, honestly. All right, so I see them over there and they're shaking the eggs, so I get the feeling that those are not wooden eggs. And I would also assume that they aren't hard boiled. So that's gonna be fun to pick up later.
I was trying to look and see if there's eggs laying out here yet. I think, is that an egg right there?
So there's one right in front of us on this corner.
I think there's one way down there. I can kind of see it.
Yep. And I see one over by the entrance too. Other than that, kind of go into the dirt of the arena. You can't really tell. It's camouflaged.
So I know the Queen crowning is tonight. We'll be back with coverage of that. Is there anything else going on today? Is that pretty much it?
I think for today, that is it. Again, just trying to keep things
All right, after our
social
junior eggs,
distance
we're
and
going on
Yep.
to barrels. Then our speed events start. We got barrels and flags and poles and speed dash and all sorts of fun events.
I know Fuller Digital Solutions will be here all week broadcasting. The events have each event has its own link, and I believe that's been posted with the O'Brien County Fair Board page. So if you enjoy these broadcasts or want to watch the other ones, go on there. The links will be on there.
You are allowed to have your finger on the egg for right now.
Yep. No, we're very fortunate that you're able to be here because, I mean, like we said, like you aren't able to have all of your family, your extended family here. And, I mean, honestly, that's what makes fair. Like, you've worked hard on these projects, whether that's livestock or non-livestock. You're wanting to show it off and get that judge and that feedback. But like we said, talking about that support, those family members and those friends are also involved. So being able to have them there, or in this case, have them watch later, is also very beneficial.
I think there's several events tomorrow and Tuesday, if I recall right.
All right. Thumbs off the eggs. Thumbs off the eggs, and the judge is watching.
Yep, I would say tomorrow's a big day. We've got quite a few shows going on. I know we've got sheep and goat, as well as I think rabbit and maybe even poultry.
Did he drop his egg?
I think he has.
Trot your horse, please.
But I think they're going to
Trot.
keep going until
Until she
Danielle
drops.
drops her egg as well.
She's a smooth little rider for, what is she, just a 6th grader?
6th grader? I believe so.
I have a 5th grader, and I can't imagine my 5th grader. Oh, there she dropped
Oh.
it.
In the middle.
Did pretty good, though.
All right, guys. Good job.
Yep. I say I don't even know if I put an egg on the end of a
Both
spoon
be
walking
better
across
like
the kitchen
that.
like
Right.
you said. I don't think I could do that.
Right.
So the fact that
Yeah, I can't
on a
do
horse,
I kind of want to try it now, but
I think you should.
Maybe
That's your
hard-boiled.
task. When you come to the show tomorrow, like you get your report in on how did
There
your
you go.
egg and spoon in the kitchen go.
All right. They will both be receiving blues. Good job, guys. Good job.
So for our junior egg and spoon
All right.
receiving blues were
Now
Danielle
our
Tesh
speed
and
events
Sean
are coming up.
Vandernold.
We are going to have to check those timers. I got them set up and turned on, but I never had a chance to find out if they're actually lined up.
Judge over here talking to our participant.
Sean.
That's Sean.
Yep.
Maybe get him some words of advice or encouragement or whatever it might be.
Yep.
So, like to see that.
Oh yeah. Especially since he's might have had a little bit more practice needed, but and say one of the things with any riding event is in order to leave the arena you have to get out of the saddle. And I think it was very, very nice of our judge to lend a helping hand for that. Make sure it was smooth, because one of those things, anytime you're around a gate, especially in, say, horses, they kind of think a little bit different. like, ooh, I'm going to get to go, or maybe I don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to be there to support in that is always helpful.
So we got the senior barrel racing coming up.
We sure do, and we've got a couple of them who are getting their horses warmed up out on the outside of the arena. So this is one of my favorites to watch. I just think it's so fun. Like, they just get to let those horses move and go, but also at the same time, like, this is a fair event. So, like, if you haven't done barrels before, this is a great time where they've got the timer set up to just give it a try and see if your horse goes. Like, especially in those younger classes, like, maybe you take those barrels at a trot. Like, it's just a fun learning experience. You get your horse used to going around those barrels, get them used to the patterns, the different leads, and just a great learning experience.
So are the barrels, I'm assuming they got them out there pretty quick, but are they all equal distance apart from each other?
Yep, they've got, like, specific instructions for how far apart they have to be from the fence. And I want to say they even, like, pre-marked them before to know
right.
like, where they had to be.
That's what I was thinking, because they got them set pretty quick. And
yep. I don't know how far they need to be or if they need to be a certain distance. And it would make sense for them to have like a standard run, because like when you get into any of like your open shows or like anything like qualifying, our lovely judge just informed us that those barrels have to be 19 to 21 feet. So, good to know. You learn something new every day.
I suppose you don't want your horse, getting too close and running in to the fence. You don't want an injury to happen.
Maybe he'll come. Maybe he'll come talk to you for a little bit.
Says he.
He's saying no. We'll see if we can convince him to come over and chat.
He says he thinks so.
It's pretty cool to do. What, people are talking to you?
It's just us two talking back and forth. We're talking to the judge here. We got a live stream going on Fuller Digital Solutions YouTube. So with COVID-19, so more people can watch from home and stuff like that. So,
Kevin, do you want to maybe just like give a summary of how you thought the show's gone today so far, and say all the rest of the events are timed events. So, but just your perspective. I know this is not your first year here, so coming back year to year is always fun to see how things change.
So yeah, though up here at the O'Brien County Fair with the horse kids, they're all doing a great job. I've been up here a few times, and it's been fun watching them grow and progress through the years. We did all the judging classes earlier with the pleasure, halter confirmation, and then the showmanship, horsemanship. Now we're going to, like said, we're going to start the speed events. So, again, it's a lot of fun. This is a good group of people, good group of kids. Everybody works hard. Just appreciate being here.
So, Kevin, before you go, and say, what's your background in horses?
Well, I started out as a 4-H'er, looking like some of the young kids starting here today, where you're really green and you don't know anything, and slowly progressed to showing Palomino horses at breed shows. And up through the years, I've been training horses for 30 years. I got a good group of people I work with. Right now, we primarily go show at Pinto shows, which encompasses a lot of different types of horses: minis, ponies, saddle pleasure types, hunter and stock type horses, utility horses. So that's primarily what we do. And actually, this year I'm the Pinto president, national Pinto president this year. So yeah, that's my experience with horses.
Very cool. Well, we're lucky to have you. And say, it says here that you're from Holstein. Do you have your horses there, or do you keep them at a different place?
17 stall barn there, and that's where training facilities there. So yep, that's what I do full time.
That's awesome. Very cool. And say, we were talking, like, we just really appreciate that you're able to give some knowledge and help the kids out.
Thank you.
Very hands-on. We appreciate it.
Kate with a great job keeping the judge over here and talking to him a little bit longer.
He was ready to split. Hey, maybe someone can bring you some ice cream while you're sitting there with the timer. We'll see what we can do.
So good knowledge there, you know. Like you said, he's from Holstein, and a 17 stall barn, I think he said he had. So
Yeah. And a
that's cool.
national Pinto president.
That
I
is
think
cool.
that's pretty cool.
That is real cool. For someone that I would consider to be local, you know, Holstein's not very far away, so.
Exactly. It's amazing what you find in your backyard. All right, looks like our barrels are set up. We've got somebody coming in. Is that Wyatt Tesh, I believe? All right, this is Wyatt Tesh on Dundee.
This is the same horse he's been riding
That
all day,
horse
right?
stopped after that second barrel and still took off. Goodness gracious.
Wyatt's time, 18.738. 18.738. All right, next up will be Samantha, followed by Kimberly, and then Robin.
All right, coming in the ring is Samantha Sauer and her horse Bailey. And if this is the same horse, or the horse I'm thinking of, this last year, this horse can move. Yep, it's already excited. It's ready to go. Oh, wide turn. Oh.
Her time is 18 flat with a 5-second penalty for a 23 flat.
I was wondering how that worked. So it's a 5-second penalty for knocking over a barrel.
Yep.
So if you just touch the barrel, does that matter as long as you don't knock it over?
You know, I'm not sure.
Kevin? Oh.
Nope, it's not. I figured as long as you just keep it up, because I've seen some as they go around, they put their hand out, but I couldn't tell you. I wasn't sure.
So she would have been in first, but that 5-second penalty puts her in second place with just two gone.
Next up will be Kimberly, followed by Robin, Bailey, and Emily.
That was fun watching that horse. Like you said, you're just excited, ready to go. So.
My horse would have taken those at a trot. So this is Kimberly Sauer and her horse Flicka.
Horse is excited too, it looks like.
It's like, let me go. I'm ready to run. So she's getting it. The right mindset and gonna let her go. Oh.
Horse kind of wanting to stop on her.
Yep, just a little bit, but made it all the way through.
24.32.
It's a very pretty horse. Out there to have a good time. Right, next up we have Robin Rounds and her horse Sabrina.
All right, Judge, ours didn't start, so it's up to you.
So, Kate, what's the official when they start the timer? Is that when it goes right past the judge there?
Yep, so over here we have our judge hitting.
27.13, 27.13.
Right, so we have our judge sitting over. He's got, it's like I call it a trip timer. I don't know if that's officially what it's called, but they've got one on each side of the ring. So when the horse passes it, it starts the timer. The judge is also there with a stopwatch, too. But this is Bailey Rolfson and her horse Smoke. He got moving.
23.22, 23.22.
So right now we've still got Wyatt Tesh in first with a time of 18.738.
And just Emily Kellen left to go, right?
Yep. Emily's also I would say, a very experienced rider. It's always fun to see her and her horse go out and run.
Horse is ready, it looks like.
Uh-huh. It's like, I see him. I'm ready. Oh, here she goes.
Nice run.
That was a good run.
18.41, 18.41.
She'll be our winner. Got Emily Kellen, top time of 18.41, followed by Wyatt Tesh with 18.738.
First place goes to Emily with 18.41. Second place to Wyatt with an 18.738. Third place to Sam with a 23 flat. And fourth place to Bailey with a 23.22. Kimberly with fifth, 24.382. And Robin with a 27.13.
So that was close.
Yeah, it did end up being pretty close.
Looks like we got Sean. I guess I don't know which direction they're going. Nope, they're going to bring in Danielle first.
Alright, so this is Danielle Tesh and her horse Rusty back out in the ring.
I'm guessing she doesn't feed Rusty Beefarino.
Doesn't look like it. And say the only clouds we see following them are the dust they're kicking up. Oh, so with barrels, it's also important that they keep the pattern. So they have to round the barrels a certain way, depending on which side they choose to go first. So
She did a nice job.
She did a very nice job.
23.06, 23.06. Next up, and our last rider for juniors is Sean.
And say with both Danielle and Emily, like you could hear them, they kind of talked to their horse to communicate with them to make sure they were going and they're still in control when they're on them. I thought that was pretty good. All right, here goes Sean. Oh, this horse is talking to everybody around him. Oh, but he rounded that barrel pretty good. Let's see how he opens them up.
Talking again. Did a nice job.
He did. He did.
30 flat. His time is 30 flat. So first place goes to Danielle with a 23, 24.6, and then second place goes to Sean. Good job, guys. All right, they'll be setting up the senior flags. I'm going to work on the timer.
So senior flags coming up.
Yep, and it looks like we've got 5 entries.
So we moved along pretty fast today. Kept things moving.
Sure have. We've got just events left, and we've got flags coming up next, followed by speed dash, poles, keyhole, streaking, and softball.
So people at home probably couldn't see, but the judge is quite the character, and he hit his face as he walked back by. Oh,
but he's walking so confidently now. We love a good sport.
That's right. I think life would be boring without a sense of humor. So
I agree.
No. Yeah, there you go.
So is that Wyatt? Looks like.
Yep, looks like he's at the gate first. Ready to go. So for this event, I'm fairly certain they get to choose which side they want to run. And so they can either start with the flag in the right and move it to the left, or they can start with the flag in the left and move it to the right. I think they let the rider choose.
I suppose it depends on what they practice and used to, feeling.
Yep. And that might be anything from like what lead their horse is more comfortable in, or maybe what hand the rider's more dominant in. So.
So it looks like we had a little bit of an issue with the timer. Otherwise, the judge would just have to keep timing.
Yep. It's one of those things like you can work every time in practice. Real deal? Maybe not.
right, senior flag race. We got Wyatt, Tesh, Sam, Kimberly, Robin, and Emily.
Yep, we've got Wyatt up first.
Do you take this to Sissy after she does her run?
I've liked watching Wyatt today. His horse has just been a really nice horse and followed his commands well and stuff. So, second place finish in the barrel racing.
Oh, nice.
10.212, 10.212. Sam, Kimberly, Robin, and Emily.
So I apologize. I explained a different style of flag race. This one, they start with a flag and they get to stick it in, and then they choose which one they're going to pull the flag out of.
So the real question is, are they sanitizing the flags in between, or how are they doing this? So.
They are. They've got wet
Multiple?
wipes, and they've got paper towels. That way they're able to dry them off, too. So.
Isn't it just strange? You never would have thought of that, in earlier years, but...
Yep, and they were even talking about, like, for softball, like, does everybody get their own softball, or are they sanitizing them? And those are just extra things you just had to think about this year. So. Oh.
Did she miss?
She missed. Oh. But let's see if she can grab the last one. And she was able to grab her last flag.
All right.
Still pretty good.
Hers will be in no time. She did not get the flag in the first bucket, so that will be in no time.
Looks like she had a fast horse, too, so that's too bad.
Yep. Like I told you, that horse can move. It likes to go fast.
All right, so next up will be Kimberly, Robin, and Emily. Then we'll be on to our junior flags.
How about a good Talladega Nights quote for you? If you ain't first, you're last, right?
You know? It's kind of how it works sometimes. All right, this is Kim Sauer and her horse Flicka. Let us see, will she be first or last? They're looking at him. Oh. That horse was wanting to round that barrel instead of go right by it. Yep. Just got it. Woo! She's sticking with it. There you go. Got the flag in. On to the next. Of course I wanted to touch that barrel. Oh, almost.
Just a rough run, but she tried hard.
Nice.
Give her a lot of credit.
But that will be in no time.
So no time for Kim Sauer.
Robin, followed by Emily once we get our pattern set back up.
Okay. I've seen the horse run and I know it can do it. So, just not today. So, but. I think it also says a lot, though, for Kim, especially at that first barrel. Like, she stuck with it. She kept trying, even though the horse wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
Wanting to be near it. Maintain control. Was calm on the horse. Difficult situations. You just got to make the best out of them.
Yeah, you definitely give her credit for staying with it and not giving up on it. Could have given up,
Yep.
but...
Yep. Nope, she did a great job. All right, this is Robin Rounds and her horse Sabrina. The flag is in. And they're off. Oh, almost got it. She reached.
No time.
Final exhibitor should be
Emily
Emily
will be
Kellen.
our final senior. Then we will have Danielle and Sean as our juniors.
All right, time to beat is a 10.212 by Wyatt Tesh.
And this is Smoke.
Yep. Flags in. Wide turn, but got the second flag.
12.698, 12.698.
She did a nice job.
So
She
first
did.
place will go to Wyatt with a 10.212, second place to Emily with a 12.698, and then followed by No Times.
And say her horse just took a bit of a wide turn, and I wonder what that time would have been like if it was a bit closer. All right, this is Danielle Tesh and her horse Vesty.
Just a nice little trot there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now she's picking it up.
Oh, almost got it.
Bummer.
Another No Time.
Well, Sean, you got a first place coming here. If you can just,
All right,
you can take your
Sean,
time
so
even,
good.
right?
Yep.
You are up.
And here comes Sean Vandernold, 2 in the junior flag race. So if Sean can just get the flag in and pick the other one up, he'll win.
So he's 1 for 2 so far. Or I should say 1 for 1.
1 for 1, yeah.
Gonna be 2 for 2.
There
Yep.
you go.
And he is.
24.891. Very good. 24.891. There is your first place junior with a 24.891, and Danielle with a No Time.
So that was a good run. Should be very, very happy with how Scout ran that one.
All right, next up will be our senior speed dash. Senior speed dash.
Yep, we've got the same ones. We've got Tesh, 2 Sours, Rounds, Rolfson, and Kellen.
Even got some cloud cover going on out here.
It is a great day for a horse show.
Oh, it's beautiful. the fun part is these kids can go back and rewatch this on YouTube and watch themselves for years to come. It'll be there forever. So
Yeah, for sure. And so one of the things they have us do, just as like educators too, is like you watch how you perform. You make notes of, oh, I did that well. I want to make sure I do that again. This is what I would change. And so I hope maybe that's something to benefit from having our shows live streamed, is they're able to see what they specifically do. Then it makes it a little bit easier on mom and dad who are like, oh my goodness, like they keep giving me like critiques or like praises, and like then you can actually see how you do.
Right.
All right, Speed Dash is up now.
That's one thing my boss even tells me is commentating a lot of ball games is to go back and re-listen to the broadcast. It's kind of weird to listen to yourself, but just things you can say, oh, I could have said that or done a little different, or I like that part of what I did, whatever. So
I don't even want to imagine the feedback I'd have for myself if I had to listen to this again. Yikes.
Oh, everyone would say you did a great job, and you did it the first year. So if we continue to do this, you got to do it every year.
All right, so for Senior Speed Dash, we will have Wyatt, Sam, Kim, Robin, Bailey, and Emily in that order, please.
So that's one of those things. Maybe we could trade off like every other year or something.
There you go.
That we have someone else to listen to, like, oh, they did this and I like that. I could try and do that.
Speed Dash is where you go from there. Yeah. Yeah. As fast as you can.
That's why they call it speed dash. So what are you saying? She's not gonna be able to go? What about Ann? I'm always staying at the rodeo.
So are you a rodeo fan too?
I do enjoy a good rodeo. I do.
So I guess I'm putting a plug in for them a little bit, but the Barnes PRC rodeo is going to be at the Barnes Ranch. They're having one. They normally have it at the Cherokee Fairgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to do one at the ranch this year, so it's the 23rd, 24th, 25th.
Right, are we ready?
3 nights.
So this week.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then Sam,
Thursday,
Kim,
Friday, Saturday.
Robin, Bailey, and Emily.
Very cool.
At their ranch. I believe it's 4 miles east of Larrabee on that blacktop.
Okay. Might have to check it out.
And they're saying that, with less rodeos, they're going to have some of the top riders from around the U.S. coming to this. So it's supposed to be really
That'll
good.
be very, very cool. So are you live streaming that too then?
No, we are not.
Oh.
No.
All right, here goes Wyatt. This is Speed Dash.
Have a wide turn.
Mm-hmm. Still a good run.
9.341,
The dust still begins to settle.
9.341. Next up is Sam, followed by Kim, Robin, Bailey, and Emily.
Did you catch his time?
Oh, I did not. Good run. The dust still begins to settle.
It's King's night. I don't know what they're doing out there for King's night. This is not the ready.
Tried to catch it on the replay there. I missed it, so we'll have to wait to the end probably.
Yep.
I was busy chatting. That's my
I
fault.
know. You do. Happens sometimes. All right, Sam Sauer is off. That was a good turn.
8.341. 8.341.
Which I think was a little faster than Wyatt's. I think it was 10 something if I recall right. But
Robin, Bailey, Emily.
well, there we go.
Wyatt ran a 9.341.
Got some spectators paying attention.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Somebody is, right?
Yep. So this is Kim and Flicka. She wants to. Yep. This is way more her style today. That was a good turn.
$9.424. $9.424. Robin, Bailey, and Emily.
So Emily's getting her workout opening the gate over here. Emily Mars.
Yep.
Her intern for the summer.
Yep. So that's that they're able to be at the shows, because normally they'd be doing some type of livestock weigh-in right now. So it's always nice to have extra help around. This is Robin Rounds on Sabrina.
$12.727. $12.727. All right, now we got Bailey, then Emily, followed by our juniors, Danielle and Sean. $10.180.
Bailey let smoke know that smoke took a wide turn.
Followed by our juniors, Danielle and Sean.
She was kind of giving us some commentary on the fly, right?
All right, this is Emily Kellen on her smoke. Ooh, another wide turn.
9.224. 9.224. All right, so
That would have been a real quick one, but she took the fence line.
all right, so first place goes to Sam with an 8.341. Second to Emily with a 9.224. Third is Wyatt with a 9.341. Fourth to Kim with a 9.424. Fifth to Bailey with a 10.180. And Robin with a 12.727. All right, now on to our juniors, Danielle and Sean.
So she got second place even with the wide turn.
Yep.
So that's impressive.
Oh, yeah. Right, this is Danielle, Tash, and Rusty going for Speed Dash.
Did a nice job.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 11.751. 11.751. Sean, you are our last junior. After Sean, we will be moving on to senior polls.
I can see this horse doing really well at Speed Dash.
Nice speed going.
Mm-hmm.
Good turn.
Yep.
$12.240. 12.240. So first place goes to Danielle with an 11.751, followed by Sean with a 12.240. Very close, guys. Very good.
I think you
Now
give
we'll
Danielle
set
and
up the
Sean a
senior polls.
little bit more time and practice on those horses, a couple more years, and they're going to They're going to be giving Emily Kellen and who was it? Sam Sauer run for their money on that race.
Both did a nice job.
Yep.
On to senior polls. Got the tape measure out, so measuring.
This one is official. They have specific measurements they have to do.
It's not 19 to 21 feet, like the barrels.
Whose feet are those? Whose feet are those 19 to 21?
Looks like Wyatt going first.
You betcha.
Oh, it stayed up. I think I heard him say...
Oh!
Oh, shoot.
His time is 28.221. 5-second penalty gets him up to 33.221.
The first time through, I think I heard him say, dang it. We can say that on here. It's YouTube, right? It's not on radio.
That's good.
What's that?
All right, we got Sam, followed by Kim, Robin, and Emily.
I should mention all the reports will be on KCHE 92.1 FM daily at 8:35 or so. So
This
nice.
evening?
In the morning.
Or in the morning?
Yep. So like tomorrow's results will all be on there, or today's results will all be on tomorrow morning. On the
That's
radio.
handy.
Yeah.
That's nice.
$27.123, total of $37.123.
I got off of work all day. So
Okay.
I can. So what? No, I signed up for Bottle Bucket.
I'm gonna go to
Afternoon shows.
Bottle bucket. Bottle bucket. Beef. No, not beef. Sheep. Goat.
Yeah, you
But I
gotta
can
get
help
out
out
there
then
for
tomorrow
you.
wherever you need me and stuff.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll just put your name under those for tomorrow then, and the remind that I send out.
Okay.
Thank you. What was it?
37. I don't remember the official. But she had a 10-second deduction with 2 of them knocked over.
All right, here goes Kim and her horse Flicka. Whoop, it stayed up. It's a good turn. Oh, that's a 5-second then?
5-second, yep.
25.593 for a total of 30.593.
So I think so far every one of them's knocked at least one over.
Yep, looks like it, because Wyatt got 1, Sam got 2, and Kim got 1. Let's see how Robin and Emily do. The last 2.
So if you could basically run a good clean run and not walk one over, you got a chance to get first place there.
Yeah, as long as they can run about a 30-second pole. So. Right, there goes Robin Rounds and her horse Sabrina.
Horse wanted to turn a little too soon there.
Yep. Yep, and she's talking her horse through it. It's doing good. You go back?
The horse is kind of like, do I have to go back?
Robin says yes. Alright, let's have her open her up. That's pretty good.
38.394. 38.394.
First rider without knocking one over, though. So.
Yep. Alright, we got our last one so far. Our last one for this class will be Emily Kellen and her horse Smoke.
I have a good feeling about this run.
I do too. We're due for a good one. Good and fast.
All right, Emily will be our last senior, followed by Danielle and Sean for our juniors.
Kind of fighting her a little bit, huh?
A little bit.
It's like the horse wanted to turn almost at first.
All right, here she goes.
Take her home.
35.367. 35.367.
It's a good run. All right, I believe our first place will be Kim. Will that be Kim Sauer with a 30.593? I think so. We'll wait for the officials.
All right, so first place goes to Kim with a 30.593. Second place to Wyatt with a 33.221. Third place to Emily with a 35.367. Fourth place to Sam with a 37.123. And fifth place to Robin with a 38.394.
Up and already going is Danielle.
Yeah, wasting no time. We're right at it. She's doing a good job so far.
And that horse is ready.
$33.509. 33.509. Sean, you are our last pole rider.
That would have earned her third place in the senior poll.
I was gonna say she's right there with the old kids, right?
Let's see how Scout does.
Here's Sean talking to his horse out there.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a good job. Speed will come with more practice.
Yep. Well, especially on the way down, I thought they were really going to be booking it. That was a good run.
All right, you had to be cutting it close to that timeline, but it says you got a 43.365. 43.365.
That was good.
Very good. So first place goes to Danielle with a 33.509. Second place to Sean with a 43.365.
Hey, he didn't knock any pulls over, so
exactly.
Give him some credit there.
When we time you hold your breath for 10 seconds, we'll see how you do.
All right, so we should be moving on to Keyhole. We got senior and junior. Classes look about the same as far as exhibitors as the last couple. So, should be moving right along.
All right, once the keyhole pattern is set up, we got Wyatt, Sam, Kim, Robin, and Emily. Wyatt, Sam, Kim, Robin, and Emily.
So Wyatt's pretty much led off most of the senior classes.
Yep, it looks like following the program, they're starting from the bottom of the class and moving up. But I think that's smart, especially since there's just given the class size, then your horse has a little bit of time to rest in between. So.
There, don't. What are we doing now? Oh, that keyhole thing.
instead of walking. What would happen to my mom?
All right, as soon as our judge is in his place, we will start out with Wyatt, Sam, Kim, Robin, and Emily.
You know, this is a whole new year and a whole new experience, so I have no idea what they're gonna have out there.
We're gonna have horses, we're gonna have food,
Eat out there. Well, no, when they did it years ago, that was not where they at. Yeah, we're carrying on to the Meyer district. Oh, shoot.
My one that's my neighbor's one, these are kind of starting to get
Would have been an 11.345. Would have been an 11.345.
this plain teal.
Oh, okay.
So is that a disqualification if they knock one over on this?
I'm looking at doing the same exact color,
The way he announced it, it kind of sounds like it was.
but without.
I didn't know if they give like the 5-second rule here again or 10-second, whatever. But
Yeah, it might just be a no time.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. But
They'll probably have fun for both, but other than that, I don't know if they're gonna have any other kind of entertainment or what's gonna happen.
They are.
Right, so here goes Sam. Right, it's got to keep the poles up. Woo!
13.336. 13.336. Kim, Robin.
A lot of dust after that run.
Kim, Robin, Emily.
You have to taper. Cable.
This is Kim up next. Oh, looks like she got 2 poles down. Yep, and she's just gonna head on back.
Okay, nice try.
You know what streaking really is? What?
What people do on Snapchat.
That is one of the meanings of it.
Yeah, I don't put it that way. Streaking would be if your mom would rip off all her clothes and run across to the pickup.
Point 18.262. Emily will be our last senior, followed by our juniors, Danielle and Sean. After keyhole, we got
Here, you wanna watch
streaking.
it? Okay.
Come on,
16.735. 16.735. So first place goes to Sam with a 13.336. Second place to Emily with a 16.735. Third place to Robin with an 18.262. Followed by a couple of no times.
I was trying to look. I know
All right, Danielle, you are up, followed by Sean.
we were talking about the rodeo. I believe the PRCA, and they do have some entertainment there. I can't find it on Facebook, but I know he's been working with KCAG and there's a different stuff. So they do have like a national type entertainer that goes around as different rodeos to entertain in between and stuff like that. So it should be fun.
That'll be very cool. It'll be quite an event, I'm sure. This is Danielle Tesh. Accidentally got one of the poles on the turnaround.
Nice ride. Would have been a 15.188.
So from what I'm seeing, the key is just don't knock one over. You'll be running, right?
That's what it's looking like right now. And say, but if you look at their times, like
All right,
they're running
Sean,
some good,
you are our last keyhole participant.
some good times. All right, let's see how Sean does on this one. Horse looks ready.
Well, Sean, if you can keep the poles up, you'll win. So.
I think so. That was good. That horse was ready to move.
Good ride. 22.888. 22.888. He is your first place. Junior. 22.888. All right, now we move on to senior streaking.
I'm gonna do a little behind the scenes kind of span where we're. Everyone's spread out pretty well out there. Pretty much just is the immediate family out here and some extra people just helping and stuff. So.
And honestly, there isn't even much extra help because our volunteers that we've got out here, plus maybe like less than a handful, they're all our superintendents. We've got Dave Stoll, Tom Gonnerman, Cloyd Goshen, and Sandy Sauer. So, and some of those are, I'd say at least one of them's a parent, and the other ones are ringmen. So, kept it pretty close.
All right, this is our streaking competition. The point of this game is there are 3 sets of poles out there. You just run down the arena as fast as you can. Got to go between all 3 sets of poles. If you happen to go between the fence and the pole, it's a no time. If you miss the poles altogether, it's a no time.
Go between the poles.
We'll try.
All right, so it looks like our first competitor is going to be Wyatt, followed by Sam, Kim, Robin, Bailey, and Emily. Wyatt, Sam, Kim, Robin, Bailey, and Emily. Judge is in his spot. We are ready when you are.
What was your favorite event to participate in when you were? All of them?
And say we definitely did the best in walk trot.
Walk trot.
But probably my favorite to run. I really enjoy poles and keyhole. Those ones were probably my favorite.
Wyatt's got a nice run going.
Yeah, he does.
9.749. 9.749. Sam, Kim, Robin, Bailey, and Emily.
And I would say that's probably because one, they're fun, they're fast, but we also were decently successful at.
Yeah.
So
that always makes it more enjoyable.
Yeah.
When you do well.
And say, however, I did try barrels and flags, and they were just as fun. And it was a very good experience, and it just needs more practice. So.
That horse is ready to go.
Bailey is running. Oh, keep going, buddy.
9.430. 9.430.
Oh, wow.
Close ones.
Those are
Kim, Robin, Bailey, and
It's a
Emily.
good run.
That's a close time.
Mm-hmm.
0.3 seconds difference, basically.
Yeah. Got dust in my mouth. They came in too hot. Flicka's gonna give them a run for their money. That was a good run.
Wowzers, we are close, but we keep getting faster. 9.369. 9.369.
Wow.
She not only gave them a run for their money, she passed them. That was good.
Those are some close times.
We got Robin,
Yeah.
Bailey, and Emily, followed by our juniors.
It's a good thing that timer was working. Took some heat off the judge.
We didn't hear that. Yeah, these would be difficult to just get the right time on
Yep.
stopwatch wise.
All right, here goes Sabrina.
$13.460. 13.460.
Yep, Robin and Sabrina also a good run.
All right, now we got Bailey, followed by Emily. Then we'll start our juniors, Danielle and Sean.
Smoke and smoke.
Yep. The smoke came in all calm and is ready to run. Oh no, she missed the poles. See what her time would have been.
Would have been a 10.853. Would have been a 10.853. Nice try. Emily will be our last senior. Followed by Danielle and Sean, our juniors.
Yep, those are some good times.
You don't want to hear the would have been.
I know. For comparison's sake, we'll just forget the would have been.
This one's going to be a fun one, I have a feeling.
I think I remember this horse running this event last year. I was like, whoa. I don't know. She hasn't been wanting to work with her much today. Or the end of the most recent events.
She's moving here.
Come on, Swope. Come on, Swope.
Oh, keep going.
Oh,
All right.
Way to go, Swope. Yeah, wait.
All right, we got a bunch of close ones on there. We got a 9.360 goes to Emily with first place. Second place.
Oh, man.
9.369. Third place to Sam with a 9.430. Fourth to Wyatt with a 9.749. And fifth to Robin with a 13.460.
So a .009 difference?
Yep.
First and second? That is close.
Way to keep it close. All right.
Let's see how they do. Got Danielle, followed by Sean.
Shoot, if we keep getting faster,
Show
I
those
can't imagine how fast these juniors are going to go.
You're so fast you won't see them on the camera, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Can you move it that fast? First up, we got Danielle.
12.750. 12.750. Be our last streaker. Sean, you are up. You will be our last streaker. Then we'll move on to softball race. Softball will be our last event of the day. I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Thanks to all the kids for showing, and thanks for being there ready at the gate. It helps the day move along. Thank you, everybody.
That horse just likes to talk to everybody who's in and he's running.
Very close. We've got first place with a 12.495 going to Sean, and second place with a 12.750 going to Danielle. Very good job.
Yep, those two juniors are going to do a great job when they spend more time on that horse. Like, they've already got good times, and they're just going to keep getting better.
All right, our next event and last for the day is the softball race. Seniors, we got Wyatt, Sam, Kim, Robin, and Emily. Wyatt, Sam, Kim, Robin, and Emily.
Yeah, hopefully these junior riders will stick with it and keep coming back for all through their senior year.
Yeah, they both had a really great day so far, so
All right,
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Softball race is all about. There's a 5-gallon bucket stuck out in the middle of the arena. Kid grabs a softball, races down around the bucket as fast as you can. Drop the ball in the bucket. If it bounces out, tips the bucket over, and rolls out, it is a no tie.
I want to see him hit the softball, with a bat.
have somebody pitch it at them. I feel like that's all kinds of dangerous.
Probably would be for
the horse. Yeah. Yeah, but the horse, that's your unknown.
The horse can move right into the way of the pitch.
Yeah. And say, we did not have, like, when I showed horses, we did not have streaking or softball. So these ones are new for me, but I think they're pretty cool.
So just to clear things up a little bit, if for some reason the bucket would tip over, but the ball stays in the bucket, it still counts. So if the bucket tips over and the ball manages to stay in, you still get a time.
Can I put like Velcro on the bottom of my softball so it just like sticks?
Is that like a major league pitcher, putting a little pine tar on there to throw the ball off? You can put that on there to hold it in.
I feel like it might be frowned upon. But
there you go. Super glue.
Something clear so they can't see. Nope. We'll keep this clean.
Pleasant day. It's really quiet out here. said, we'll be back with the Queen coronation tonight. I believe that starts at 8. So we'll be back for that tonight. That'll be fun.
Oh, sorry, Avery.
Yep, and then you'll have some new king, princess, and queen to interview because you'll have some new people helping with the shows.
I think Jillian said there's 9 for the queen tonight and 3 for the king.
Sounds about right. And lucky for us, they're both deciding to still help with some of the remaining shows too, even though they'll be officially alumni queen and princess. That's how that works.
Got to know those two a little bit over the year. They both played basketball and I played softball, so nice girls.
Yep, they both, as well as the king, did a great job representing their county. So, very thankful.
And who was last year's king?
Last year's king was Mitchell Hunt.
Okay.
Yep. So, and I believe he is currently studying at SDSU.
You want one too?
Sure. Thank you.
All right, we were straightening some stuff up here. We will be ready for you. The judge is heading that way. So, as soon as he gets in place, we will have Wyatt, Sam, Kim, Robin, and Emily. They will be our senior softball participants.
They're always waiting on you.
Keep picking on the judge.
Yep, we are ready for you.
Wyatt.
With the softball.
Oh, it bounced out.
Nice try, Wyatt.
If it would have stayed in there, it would have counted.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it tips over.
All right, unfortunately, that will be a no time.
Could you imagine if you tried that
Now
with
we
tennis
got
balls?
Sam, Kim,
Ooh.
Robin, and Emily.
It would bounce out of there, wouldn't it?
Sam.
Then it would be like you have to
Robin,
bounce it, and it's how far away from the bucket it gets. That's like the better.
That could be a challenge.
Yeah, because if you drop that in the dirt, it's not going to go anywhere.
Horse doesn't want to come back in.
And say normally her sister Kim will help guide that horse in. Just needs a buddy.
I figured that whenever they went.
Here she goes. Oh, it's in.
All right.
It's a good
so I
run.
look at that horse and I wonder how does she hold on to the reins of the ball and to the saddle at the same time, and then she still manages to put it in the bucket. So with a 9.841, So far, you are in first.
I was just thinking that does take some talent to go around that bucket and get the ball in there like that. So.
Yeah.
All right, now we got Kim, Robin, and Emily. After Emily, we'll start our juniors with Danielle and Sean.
She's got it. Oh.
After all that work.
And we got another no tie. Robin, followed by Emily. Then Danielle and Sean.
So she changed hands even with the ball, so it apparently doesn't matter which one you drop it in with, as long as you get it in.
Yep. And I think as long as you still go around the
Circle
bucket. Yep.
This is a fun little game. I like this one.
It's a good closer.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat because they start their games with egg and spoon and you end with softball. Like they're both. It's more than just speed to it.
There's some deals with the rider on this one that
Yeah.
you gotta.
Some finessing.
There you go.
15.170. 15.170.
Drop the ball in the bucket.
This is the one time when you should drop the ball.
All right, our last senior is Emily. And we will be followed by Danielle and Sean.
So this horse kind of has its same routine every time it comes in, doesn't it?
Comes in, does a circle.
Yep.
However, did you notice like when the horse is more calm and listening to her, she does a bigger circle? And like when it's not, she does more of a tighter one. Oh! Missed the bucket.
All right, unfortunately, another no time.
She was ready for another round. She's like, let's keep going.
4-1. Second place goes to Robin with a 15.170. All right, we got our juniors. It's the last class of the day. We got Danielle and Sean. Here we go.
Well, we'll wait until later in the week and find out for sure what your mom and dad are doing, and then we'll figure it out.
I think Danielle's gonna do good on this.
I think they're both gonna. I mean, Scout in all of the games. I think Sean and Scout have really. They've just the more they're on today, the better they've been doing.
Maybe just getting used to being around everybody.
Yeah, well, and that horse is always talking to him every time he's come in. Bummer.
Sunday.
All right, so the real test is will Scout talk to the other horses when he's in the ring this time?
My bet is yes.
I think so too. He's already looking. It's like, where my buddies at?
He's ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that horse wants to run.
Doesn't want to go by the bucket yet, though.
Doesn't see it yet. It's fine. Circle back. Circle back.
Well, Sean, how good a pitch are you? Can you throw it from the field?
Oh, so close. It's good effort. It's a good effort. But that's something to practice
So
for next
we
year.
ended on a no time. But thank you, participants, for all coming to the fair. Thanks to everybody who helped. Thank you for coming to watch. And there is an ice cream truck up there. If anybody would like some ice cream, the ice cream truck is up there. It's open and it's ready. Thank you, everybody. We had another successful horse season.
All right. Well, that concludes the horse show.
Our-
Here to Bryant County.
Yes, they do have one. Yeah, they got one.
Will you grab my
All right, so for the participants, they do have ribbon packages up here since we were not handing them out during the games. Give us a little bit of time. We'll get those ribbon packages set up. You guys can come on up here and grab your package full of ribbons. That'll have all of your game event ribbons in there. So give us just a few minutes so they can get those set up and ready to go for you. You'll be able to come up and grab all your ribbons for the games.
All right. Well, I would say special thanks to our judge, Kevin Woodford from Holstein, as well as to our superintendents and volunteers, and say we couldn't have done this without them.
Exactly, and to our sponsors for the stream, the O'Brien County Farm Bureau and the Bryan County Fair Board. So, and appreciate your help, Kate. You gave way more insight than I ever could have given on this. So
I'm just here to keep it light.
It was fun to listen to you guys, and yeah, the kids looked like they had a fun time out there, and it was a good show.
I sure hope so.
We'll be back tonight with the Queen crowning at 8 o'clock. So join us then. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back later.